everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I am still working on my Christmas card series. So I have, I'm hoping to get maybe 5 or 6 more done, but I do need to take a little break at the end of October to show you some of the sneak peeks for November and show you November's club. So the Christmas cards will probably go through that first week in November, and then we'll move on to some other things. But if you have missed any of the ones that I've posted, here is a little postage stamped card. I love this one. I love how traditional it is. Here's one with the shepherd. Here's one that's kind of a mix and match. The card I'm doing today is a mix and match as well. And then this one was my ode to doing an all white card, but I didn't make that a last goal. So there's that. Then today I am going to, let me show you these because they are new. There's some of the sneak peek stuff. These are the adhesive backed heart sequins, and these are the Riverside Irregular Pearls. They'll be available in the latest online exclusives that are coming up in early November. Some of this stuff I'm going to show you. And one of them, I think it's these, are part of my thank you gift offers for this month. So if you want to get them right away, then place an order this month, and I'll send them out with your thank you gifts. So for this card, like I said, it's a mix and match. So we are going to use none of the pieces that are on this card, but we are going to use some of the dies that when I made this Snowy Scenes card, I didn't use. So you can go watch this one. And then I'm also using the Yuletide Village, which this is a tutorial that's available to purchase. It's a PDF that is part of the Create With Us tutorial, but that is the stamp I'm using. I have other cards with that. I should have pulled that out. Oh well, at this point I have so many Christmas cards. They're everywhere. I'm not going to have to make hardly any of my own because I'll have enough for thank yous and using some of my own. So I'm using the Snowy Scenes again, which is where I did the little shadow box card. But when I did that card, because I made the shadow box, I did not use the snow globe. So I'm going to use this snow globe today. I have another card that will come up with this snow globe. And then the postage stamp, I also have another card that's totally different, but also on the postage stamp theme. So you'll want to come back because if you like those, it gives you a chance to kind of mix and match. So we're using the Snowy Wonder dies, but just the 2 pieces that create the snow globe. So we're going to use those. Then I am using Peaceful Season dies and the word Merry. So I'm going to use the Christmas. That die cuts the word Christmas. I'm using Falling Snow, which I also used on the other, not the Yuletide Village card I just showed you, but I've used it on some samples earlier in the season when these were new. And then I'm using Yuletide Village. I'm going to use a house. I really wanted to use one with the little snowflake things. My other ones, though, do use the fence and more of the village to create the village look. So let's get going on it. It's a fun little card. I'm not sure what order to do it in. So let's stamp first. When in doubt, always stamp. So this is just some white to stamp on. I'm going to use my black memento. Maybe it almost didn't open. Oh, I thought I used the Merry. I can see now I used it in the air out of the Christmas words. So I'm just going to stamp this. You need to leave a little bit of room towards the bottom so you can have some snow attached to it. If you go right on the bottom, there's not going to be much ground. So stamp that. Always when you're using photopolymer, especially when it's a white card and you want it to be kind of light colored, don't rip up on it, kind of pull up on it, and that helps the black from not splaying. A lot of our colors sometimes on the photopolymer, it can be a little bit sticky, and that just helps it. So that's all we need for the memento. Today's filming day. I have a bunch of cards, so I'm just going to try to keep moving stuff over. Now I'm going to use the copper clay, and I will stamp is in the air, and then we're going to die cut the word Christmas. So we're just going to cut that one out. All right, let's paint this in. I'm going to use my Wink of Stella, and I don't remember what colors I did these. Well, let's start with one I know. I know I did the inside of the windows with Lemon Lolly. I don't want to do a dark color though. I do know I used green on the trees. So just add a little bit of light inside the windows. And again, I want this card to kind of be light and airy. So I'm going to go light on the colors. That's it for the lemon lolly. I also used red, but I don't want to go straight to the red. So we'll put the red and green aside. Let's do crumb cake. My crumb cake does not, it no longer looks like crumb cake on the outside. It looks like it's a green, but it's crumb cake. I just have to read the words. Sometimes, even though I know it, sometimes I look and look and look and I'm like, where is that? This is going to get cut out. So we'll just, I may have done the other one in pecan. I don't remember. We may have two different colored churches, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do all of my first coats. I could stand to squeeze this. It always makes me nervous. I should have squeezed my Stella before I was on camera. Sometimes you squeeze and you get a little bit more than you intend. Although since I started doing the shimmer cards, I tend to kind of squeeze it over my shimmer palette. Let's see. There also might not be a lot left in here. That may be the issue. Yeah, it sounds like it's kind of empty. I may have to switch. Just do the dark along the left-hand side and then pull all the rest of it till it comes off. If your Stella gets too dry, then it's going to have more of a line, which I don't want. Okay, so all the crumb cakes colored in. I'm going to take this, all of a sudden it just started flowing. This is the same, I didn't change. Don't ever throw out your Stellas without giving a really good hard squeeze, because it's kind of hard to see when they're all the way gone and you don't want to waste all that beautiful shimmer. So now that I've done the crumb cake, I've gotten most of the color off. So I'm going to use this on the snow while it's nice and clean. I'll just add some glitter to my snow, and then over here in the tree where it's not going to be green, I'll add a little bit so the tree's all sparkly. So that is our crumb cake. Now let's do the pecan pie. And do the door and the window ledges in the pecan. And then let's do granite on the roof. I'm not cleaning all of these in between because now it is, my Stella's working really well. And sometimes then when you go to clean it, it just wastes it. Because I know this one I can see that it is getting low. So as long as you're going from light colors to light colors, I would not do my red and my green and not color it, but you can get away. And let's do the stairs in the granite. I thought about doing the little walkway, but I opted not to. And right here, there's a little bit of window just inside the wreath. Oh, and the roof. I told you I was going to do the roof, and I did all the pieces but the roof. So just this little roof right here that's not snow covered. There we go. Now we are on to our real red. And I only need the tiniest little bit. Tiny, tiny to get that bow. But I do want it to be nice and red. This is really the color on our card, the red and the green right here. And then make sure you get most of that out. And then I'm going to take and finish cleaning it right here in the middles of the windows to give it just a little bit of color in there as well. Then shaded spruce. We don't need a ton of it either, but I want it to be the color. So here's our red and our green, and I want this green to be brighter than my tree. So we'll see how much I can get off. I'm gonna have to refill it. And leave part of your tree white so it looks like there's snow on it. And then that's it. And then while this still has green on it and it's wet, do get it off. Otherwise, the next time you may go to color snow and you may have green snow, which is better, I guess, than yellow snow, right? Then I'm going to take my snips and trim that out and trim that out. So now let's do our die cutting. So for our card will be white based. I'm going to put a tiny bit down here at the bottom. Put this right over to the edge because we're going to pull this off in a second. And then I'm going to put this one, again, a little bit. This one actually can go the whole way. Gotta think what I'm doing. So I'm just going to square this off. I'm going to leave the center with no adhesive. And then just put this on. So I have, be careful when it's not all the way on. This is standard card size, 5.5. Then the one on top is 5.5 by 4 1/4, and then this one is 4 by 5 1/4. Then I'm going to take this piece, another mix and match, is from Country Woods. I'm going to use this to be the base of my snow globe. So we have the base of the snow globe. We have the Christmas. So those two will get die cut. And then for this one, I'm going to pull this over and make sure your stuff doesn't move. It just needs to make it through this one pass. Let me grab my top on my snow globe, because we need it to go through all of these pieces here. And if we do it all at the same time, we'll know they're nice and lined up. So put it towards the top because we have the words and the base and everything that need to go on the bottom. And then just run this through. I'm going to go once and then back because it's 3 pieces of paper. This is a one and done die if you're just doing 1 or 2 pieces of paper, but because we have all 3, I just want to make sure they all cut at the same time. And then I'm saving these because who knows, I may come up with something. And this one you can see I accidentally taped right in the middle of the card, so those are now stuck together. I could pull them apart if I want to, or you can just figure out another way to use them. Static is strong in the house today. So then we just pop these out. It's like a little puzzle. Oh, come on. It feels like maybe I have a little bit of glue right there. There we go. And then let me run these 2 pieces through and trim out my church. All right, these are all cut out. I don't think I told you, I think this is the Regal Distressed, I think is what it's called. It's part of the Regal Flora suite. Those of you in Card Club are getting some of it on one of your cards this month. So now I'm going to take this back. I'm going to pull these off, which if it tears a little bit, even though the seal is removable because it went through the die cut machine, it kind of presses it on there. But all that's going to get covered up. So that's why I made sure to put it down where I knew I was going to put more things. Let's fold this in half and just be a little bit careful because that does have a bit of sticky on it. So now you can fold it before you put it through your die cut machine, but again, you want to make sure you open it up because if you go through folded, you'll have holes all the way through your back. And take my snow and my copper clay. Didn't want to use a brown that was on the church. I wanted it to be a little bit different. So this has a fun tinge of red. And I'm not going to care if I don't get everything on here inked because there's a ton of snowflakes. And I don't want them to be like, oh, there's a bunch of brown snowflakes. I want it just for a fun little effect. So it's going to go on the inside of my card. So you need to have your card kind of like this. Then open it up and then figure out, do you think that more snow goes to the top or the bottom? It gets me every time. I'm going to do more snow at the top. So fold it this way, kind of lay it on there, and then just kind of press around. Again, if you don't get everywhere, it's okay. So it's pretty good. There's a definite line at the top from where I put it, so I'm going to just lay it back on and only press right here at the top. So there we go. So now when we close it, we have, wash that off in a second, the snow showing through. So now I'm going to take my church, get it all adhesived up. I'm going to lay it just inside, kind of drop it so you can move it if you don't like where it is, if you need to straighten it up, just like that. made sure I don't have any copper clay on me. So now we have it showing through here. Now we need to make our shaker window. So the window sheets are not available. You can do it with with a clear envelope if you want, but they're due back in pretty soon. So the first thing we're gonna do, and I don't have my window sheets cut because I like to keep them from getting staticky and fingerprints on them. So I'm gonna grab this sheet here, which is almost a full one. Just keep them in the plastic cases and kind of cut them at the size I need. So it needs to be bigger than the window. So is that wide enough? A little bit, a tad bit wider. And then I'm going to do another one. So now I have this, and I can just go up. Because to touch these as little as possible, because they do get fingerprints, they get pet hair. It kind of depends on the time of the year too and how humid it is in your house, because right now they'd be sure to get something, because you saw how the stuff stuck to my cut and emboss plate. So I'm just going to put some adhesive around the frame. Grab one of my pieces and try just to touch the corners. And that will be our first window. And you want to make sure that you don't have any holes, otherwise whatever you're shaking will fall out. Now I'm going to shake the snowflakes. They're a tad bit fat. I've noticed they can get stuck. So if you want to shake it with something else, you can. And I'm going to use the adhesive strips. And the first thing you want to do is you don't want to go in the hole, but pretty close to it, because otherwise if you do it all the way to the bottom, then your stuff, whatever you're shaking, is going to stink all the way down. So you can do glitter, you can do other embellishments that we've had in the past, and you don't want it to be in there. It doesn't have to be beautiful back here. It literally just has to make a square or a rectangle where there's no holes. So you can see right here, it's a little bit long. I'm just going to take my scissors and kind of force that in there. And over here we need another piece. And we cut that. And then you need to make sure that your card itself, when I put the next layer on, is the right size. Is the right depth. Because if this is low, then the card will get squished. So I'm just going to add a piece here. This one's pretty close to the top. So I'm going to take a half a piece here and just stick it here. And then a piece here and one over here. It is cardstock, so it won't bend. If you're using just designer series paper, then you'd want to kind of box the whole thing in. So the next thing you do is take your snowflakes or whatever you're shaking and use more than what you think you need, because if you use less, you're not going to see them. So with this, I found out normally if you do glitter or a flatter sequins, you just kind of pour them in there and they shake. We have the loose silver sequins. That was where I was going with it originally, but I didn't realize that they were on my table. I try to get all the stuff off my table if it's not current. They were on the table, and then I looked them up, and no, they're not. But if you have those, you could use those. They must have been from last year's either annual or holiday catalog. So like I said, just kind of make sure they're kind of flat in there, because the other ones, I just had the big loop, and then when I put the other piece on top, they were all just stuck. With that. Now pull off just the section of the box first. We'll just work with it to make sure we get those grabbed in there. And grab your other piece of window sheet. Lay that over the top, and then you press down everywhere that's where there's the foam sheets, because you know those aren't going to be seen. Now let's pull these off and have this all ready for the next step. But we need to make sure we finish our top piece. I'm going to take this and add my base. Just snug it right up there. And then this is from the Nests of Winter Suite. So we're going to do a couple times around. To make it go faster, I'm going to double that up. I'm going to hold this little piece here. And then wrap that around. Because it's twine, I want it to be obvious that it's on there. This is copper clay, or maybe I think it's copper clay. It could be pecan. I said that so confidently, and then I'm like, but it does look copper clay-ish, doesn't it? We're just gonna tie a knot, not a bow, because we're gonna put words on here. We don't want this to cover up the words. I'll just cut this part apart. On my other one, I unraveled them. I'll show you the difference. After I did it, I was like, it kind of covers up my words, which is why I chose twine, to not cover up the words. Kind of space those out. And now this is all ready. And because we cut them at the same time, all we have to do is lay it on here and we'll know that they match up. And press those on there. And now it shakes. Isn't that fun? And then take our Christmas. I thought about using the sticky sheets, but I already had a lot of stuff on my table, and I was like, I can use some glue for this because I'm using glue on some other projects after this. So use your fine tip glue. This is pretty delicate, so you want to get enough glue on it that it doesn't move, but you also don't want it to stick to your fingers while you're putting it on here, which is one of the things that the adhesive sheets did do when I used it the last time, because then it can make your word be a little crooked. And because this has lines on it, you don't want it to be terribly crooked because it would be obvious. I'm not going to put the dot on the eye. I almost did last time, but this covers that all up. Then we'll just add the is in the ear. And then one last touch with our embellishments. So I went a little crazy with them on the last card because those of you who follow me know that I do try-it classes. And I had a bunch of the pecan in a separate envelope. These are also from the Nests of Winter. Actually, maybe those other ones are from, they were from an old class, and so I just had a ton of them in an envelope and I just used them all up. These are not the same color. So on this one, I'm actually going to do the white. I thought these were the embellishments I used, but apparently I was crazy. It's kind of what happens when you go quickly. So 1, 2. I did them all at the top. I didn't do any down at the bottom because I wanted them to be kind of like snow. 3, 4, and 5. The other one I think has maybe 9. It has a lot. So isn't it fun? Fun little card. So if you want to make these for Christmas, the window sheet will be back in early November. And if you are my customer and you order this stuff from me and you want me to let you know when the window sheet is, I'm happy to do that. What I don't have time to do, I find when I say that demonstrators or other people ask me if I can let them know. I don't have time to let all of you know. If you're a demonstrator, check the website because it will tell you when it's due in. And if you are a customer, then ask your demonstrator if you're not my customer. But if you're my customer and you want to make it, I'll let you know when the window sheet's back in. I think everything else is current. There was nothing on the card that was due in past the middle of November. So you could get as many steps. Like you could cut all your Christmas, you could make all your backgrounds, you could color in all your churches, you could die cut everything. Because when you're creating in multiples, it's easier to do it like all your churches at once and then cut all of your snow globes at once. So here is, I don't know which ones those are from. I thought that they were these, but they are not. They're definitely different. So they look like they're copper clay or pecan. And then this one, see, I shimmered or just untwisted these. Maybe I kind of like that. At first I thought it covered up the words. I don't think it does anymore. So to do it, you just simply untwist this. And once you have it untwirled, you just pull them apart like that. Kind of makes it a lighter look. And I think, because this, if you get these, it has all the colors. The pecan, this must be copper, or these are just have some stuff on it. But if you got this pack, you would have 3 colors that you could use on that. And I don't know where those came from. I thought they were these. So there you go. Come back and join me for some sneak peeks and some more Christmas card ideas. Have a great one. Bye.